Good afternoon, everyone. Um, Welcome to today's Affinity call on Florida College Decision Day 2021 Pandemic Edition. I am your host for these Counselor Affinity calls, Laverne Handfield, Programs Coordinator with the Florida College Access Network. We have two great featured speakers joining us today. I am thrilled to welcome Stephanie Owens and Dina Wright. Stephanie Owens serves as the Director of Programs for Reach Higher. In that role, she leads campaigns to support students' efforts to go to and complete post-secondary education, and serves as an advisor to former First Lady Michelle Obama regarding high school and post-secondary completion. Prior to joining the Common Application, Stephanie served in multiple roles at the U.S. Department of Education under President Barack Obama's administration, most notably with Mrs. Obama's education initiative, Reach Higher. Stephanie has also served as at the Alliance for Excellent Education and at the School District of Philadelphia. Stephanie earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Maryland, College Park, and a master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania. Today, we also have Dina Wright. She is a teacher and a college and career coach at Sebring High School. She's been in this role for 6 years. She sponsors a peer leader team of students in 10th through 12th grade who assist other students with college and career readiness events such as the College Application Week, Financial Aid and FAFSA events, Decision Day, and Grad Walk. Prior to Sebring High School, she was a college success coach for Take Stock in Children for Highlands County, working with students at 5 local middle and high schools. She is a graduate of the University of Florida. Her motto is kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I would also like to congratulate Dina Wright and Sebring High School for being the 2020 American College Application Campaign Florida School of Excellence. So congratulations, Sebring High. And thank you, Stephanie and Dina, for joining us today. So before we dive into today's presentation, a few housekeeping items. We'd like you all to share some strategies on how you're hosting and celebrating College Decision Day this year and resources you're using. Please submit your questions in the box, which you should see on the right side of your screen if you're viewing from a desktop computer. We will also allot time at the end of today's call for our guest presenters to answer questions, but you can submit them at any time, and I encourage you to do so. Please interact with us and others on your favorite social media platforms. During College Decision Day season, you can find FCAN on Twitter and Instagram at FL College Access. And as with all your programs, please use the hashtags FCAN and during this season, Decision Day FL and hashtag College Signing Day. Finally, this call is being recorded. All materials will be available within a week of today's call, including a recording and these slides, which will be sent out via email blast from me. And you can find handouts pertaining to today's call in your dashboard, again, if you're viewing from a desktop computer under the Handouts tab. So very briefly, I'd like to go over what these affinity calls are if you are unfamiliar. This is a time specifically for counselors and college access professionals to come together to share with each other. You may only get to see and hear what other schools are doing through newsletters, email blasts, social media. Although FCAN has seen many schools and districts reaching out across the state, if you will, to partner and collaborate on events to reach more students. Hearing someone else talk about their program could spark an idea in you to add a new feature to your existing program, implement something completely new, or discover a new resource. The intention of these calls is threefold: to create a space for you to share your best practices for programs around FCAN's College Ready Florida initiatives in conjunction with the email blasts, to highlight the great work you are all doing in preparing students for life after high school and a rewarding career, and to provide resources from local, state, and today, national partners. We hope to have some school counselors, college access professionals, and mentors like yourselves as featured speakers on future calls, as well as local college access networks on how they can provide support for you if one is in your region or county. If there are topics that you'd like FCAN to highlight in future Affinity calls, please make sure to fill out the survey at the end of today's Affinity call to let us know. I won't take up too much time today, so I'll give a brief introduction and then I'll hand it over to our presenters. As you all know from today's title, we're here to discuss Florida College Decision Day 2021. This initiative recognizes and celebrates seniors for their post-secondary plans while also encouraging younger students and their families to prepare early for college. This year, we have 379 schools and organizations registered to participate in Florida College Decision Day. And we are a year into the COVID-19 pandemic, and FCAN is very excited to see how you all intend to celebrate those students who are reaching higher and continuing their education, as well as inspiring other students not to cancel their futures and make a solid plan for life after high school, as it is not too late to apply to college. Last year, we hosted representatives from the school district of Osceola County and Jose Marti Mass 6 through 12 Academy in Miami-Dade County to discuss how their district and school, respectively, were pivoting their decision day activities to virtual, which they both saw major success with. I'll give just a little snippet of what we discussed in that Affinity call. School District of Osceola County decided to use the Photo Circle and Instagram apps. With Photo Circle, schools created circles in the app that would represent each pathway, and students were encouraged to upload photos of their decision announcements. And high schools throughout the county were designated specific days to take over the district's Instagram account to share these photos and host their virtual decision day events. At Jose Marti Mass 6 through 12 Academy, their college admissions program advisor issued a TikTok challenge to their class of 2020. Weeks and days leading up to May 1st, the students' videos were collected, and on May 1st, they were shared on Twitter. The advisor tagged the students, the school they were going to, and FCAN in the tweets as they shared the students' decision day announcements. You can find this Affinity call recording on FCAN's past webinars page. And to get us started, we'd quickly like to hear from you all on, there we go, how do you intend to host your 2021 Florida College Decision Day celebration? Do you plan to do it in person? Do you plan to host it virtually with using social media, pre-recorded videos and speeches? Or have you not yet decided how you're going to celebrate your events? We're seeing some come through. Give you all a couple more seconds. Okay, I think that's all we're gonna get, and I will share those results. About 44% haven't decided yet, and that's okay. 19% saying they're hosting in-person events. 38% say they're going virtual this year. And I would like to thank you all for participating. For those of you celebrating in person, make sure you are safe. And those virtually, we'd love to know specifically how you're hosting. So if you can, please type in the questions box some activities you'll be doing, or you can email me at lhandfield@floridacollegeaccess.org. And even if you don't know how exactly you'll be celebrating this year, we hope that today's presentation and speakers can give you a few ideas. So with that, I'm now going to hand it off to Stephanie to present.
Thank you so much. Hold on, I just got a pop-up about screen recording. I've never seen that before. So if for some reason I disappear, you'll know why. Okay, I'm still here. Okay, good. Let me go ahead then and share my screen. I think we're all now used to hearing that. Hold on. Laverne, I got an update yesterday on my computer and things have been a little wacky. Would you mind sharing your screen? I don't want to take too much time while my computer does whatever it's trying to do. And my
Absolutely not.
apologies.
Just let me know when
My
good looks like.
sincerest apologies. That looks great. I can see you all. I just couldn't see where to do it on my end. So my apologies all. Thank you for your patience. Well, I'm really excited to see that the most of you all are planning to celebrate College Signing Day this year, or Decision Day, Florida. I wrote down your hashtags. That is really exciting. And I'm excited that the other 44% of you all who have not made a decision yet how you're going to do it, that you're here today to learn how. So thank you so much for joining. We are so excited that once again, Florida is going to be with us. Next slide. Florida has always been a strong partner with us for College Signing Day. We always get a ton of schools and communities, both at the higher ed level and at the high school level, and even at the younger ages, the elementary schools and the middle schools who want to celebrate this day with your students. So thank you first and foremost for being such tremendous partners with us. When we kicked off our College Signing Days back in 2021 with Reach Higher, we did so in Texas, but the very next event that Reach Higher did was with school counselors in Florida. And Mrs. Obama spoke in Florida to school counselors there. And ever since then, we've had a really, really fantastic relationship with FCAN and just with the Florida counseling and high school communities. So again, thank you so much for your partnership. Thank you so much for being a leader in this space. I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge just the leadership that Florida has really truly had in helping their students to get ready for school, but then also the support of Reach Higher and Better Make Room. So thank you so much. Next slide. This is our toolkit for 2021. Those of you who have hosted College Signing Days in the past, you have seen a different toolkit. This is a new, revamped, more Gen Z focused toolkit that we wanted to create this year that you could really share with your students, that it isn't just a guidebook for you for how you should throw something for your students, but as a guide that you can use, that you can also get your students involved, especially if you are going to be doing things virtually and you'll have opportunities to collaborate with your students in ways that you frankly probably weren't able to do in years past, just with people being busy and with testing and with all those things going on. This is an opportunity we think that you can use to really incorporate your students. So I wanted to make sure that I pointed out that it does look a little bit different. It is different for the times, but a lot of the things that we have always done are still there. And one of those first things that we have is this message from Mrs. Obama. Mrs. Obama absolutely loves College Signing Day. She is very excited to be celebrating with all of us this year. And we wanted to share this message from her that is for all of you, but it's also for all of your students. I won't read through here, but you can find this, and you can find this entire toolkit at our website, which is www.bettermakeroom.org/college signing day. If you click, you'll see that there is a link at the bottom that says, watch my College Signing Day video. If you click that link, you'll get some inspiration from Mrs. Obama along with this message. Please feel free to share that with your students as well. Next slide. As you all know, education after high school is critical. And when we say college for College Signing Day, we are talking about any post-secondary opportunity for your students. That includes a credentialing program. It includes industry recognized certification programs. It includes the military. It includes four-year universities. It includes community colleges. So while we will still call it College Signing Day on our end, because we want to normalize that all of those opportunities are college for students, we are absolutely excited that you're calling it Decision Day, and we will recognize that it is Decision Day Florida for all of your students. One thing that is new this year to our toolkit is just capturing what the pandemic has done in real numbers. We know that this has just wreaked absolute havoc on our students and on our communities, and just on the way that they're learning, how they're learning, and what they're learning. But what we know is that the challenge for students going to college has not changed. We want to make sure that students recognize that that some college after high school is imperative for some stability. And again, we want to make sure that we're honoring the pathways that our students are taking that may look kind of untraditional sort of in the mainstream, but are frankly one of the truly more traditional ways that students are now getting that credentialing. So we want to recognize all of those decisions that students are making. But we do just want to highlight here that the pandemic has not made things any better, as I don't think any of us expected. It has just made things absolutely worse. What we thought were going to be some of the estimations of what students would be able to do with only a college, I'm sorry, with only a high school diploma or with some college has just changed, and some of that has just been completely obliterated. So I did want to share that as we're talking to students about making their decisions for what they're going to do past high school. That doesn't mean that they can't go back. It doesn't mean that they don't have multiple options of pathways. We just want to make sure that they have those options in place and that they're taking them seriously and recognize what is happening right now. Next slide. So what is College Signing Day? It is a true celebration of all of your students making this commitment to their higher education for both themselves and for their families and communities. We know that this is a family effort in many cases, whether that's the family that you're born into or the families that you have created and that you have met and have learned to grow and to love into. But this is about a community effort, and we want to make sure that the community is truly embracing all of our students while we're celebrating them for this effort and for this commitment that they're making. Like I mentioned, we launched Reach Higher at a College Signing Day in San Antonio, Texas in 2014, and we've been going strong ever since. And we are so excited that this year we're able to do it in a virtual space, but that we can also highlight any of you all who are hosting in person. And we've got tips and ideas for things that you all can do for your in-person events. And truly, we would love to hear from you how you all have shifted this year in the virtual space to celebrate your students throughout the entire school year, but how you're going to celebrate them virtually or in person. As long as you're doing it safely, we want to hear about it. We want to know about it. Next slide. Last year, like I said, was we were the last trip that I took before our offices closed down and before it seemed like the world just sort of stopped for a moment, was a trip as we were planning our College Signing Day event. We had big, exciting plans to be with students in person last year. And so when we had to pivot at what felt like the last moment for what we were going to do with Mrs. Obama, we just really weren't sure what was going to happen. And what was so exciting about last year and what we're continuing to see this year is that you all still celebrated. Florida still celebrated, and schools all across the country still celebrated their students, even though at the time it really was very scary. We weren't sure what was going to happen. We weren't sure what college was even going to look like in the fall. And yet we still took the time to celebrate. I want to point out, even more importantly though, that on TikTok, students celebrated themselves. They decided, without us, that they were going to do some of their own celebrations on their platforms of themselves and of each other. And that was so exciting for us to see. Hashtag committed check was trending for weeks. And it just showed us that this work that we're doing, this work that you all are doing, is resonating with our students and that they are wanting to celebrate each other and to also just celebrate their hard work, even in the midst of turmoil and at a time when we really did not know what was going to happen and what college was going to look like. So I just want to point out that we had 18.1 million views on TikTok alone, celebrating students making this commitment. And I am positive that this year, those numbers are just going to go through the roof. So while we may not have 3,000 in-person events and 3,000 schools celebrating this year, I know that we're going to have millions and millions of high school students and of college students celebrating making this commitment. And we're just asking you to help us to get there. Next slide. So again, we wanted to make sure that we included this slide in this toolkit this year to make sure that we are putting forward that we are celebrating all post-secondary plans. We, like I said, are very excited that you all are calling yours a decision day. And while we're still going to continue to calling it college on our end because we want to normalize all different forms of college, we still want to make sure that those students who are taking pathways that don't necessarily mean a 4-year traditional right out of high school degree are still being recognized. So we just wanted to highlight that and make sure that you all are doing it. I know that Florida is at the forefront of this, of celebrating all of your students, no matter their pathways, but we keep this in there. And I'm going to ask us a special request, that those of you who are having either special days of recognition for students who are doing other pathways, or just you are recognizing all of your students, we would love to see that. So when you're posting about College Signing Day, please be sure that you're posting those students who are making those commitments to go into the military or making those commitments to go into other certification programs. All of the photos that we have, all of the ideas that we share for signing day come from the field. They come from you and they come from your students. And if we don't see them, then we can't share them with the rest of you all. And the way that we see them is using the hashtag. So next slide, we'll get into that. So here's how you celebrate your college signing day, no matter what it looks like, in person, live, on Zoom, however you're doing it. Here's the very first thing that you should do is go to bettermakeroom.org/college signing day and register your event and let us know that you're going. Now, many of you all have already done that through FCAN. You've told FCAN that you're going to have this event. We're really lucky that FCAN has been such a fantastic partner. We are working with FCAN where they will give us a list of all of the events that you're having. So if you have already registered your event, if you've already told your FCAN coordinators where you're going to be celebrating, go ahead. You don't have to re-register on that website. However, if you have not already done so, make sure that you do. Let someone know so that we can know to look for you and so that we can make sure that we are highlighting what you and your students are doing. But you still want to go to that website because there are lots of tools and resources that you and your students can use throughout the day, including this webinar this toolkit. You'll be able to download this toolkit directly from that site to get all of these things. Set your date. We will be celebrating on April 30th and on May 1st this year. May 1st is a Saturday, so we wanted to make sure that we were still able to capture some of those in-school attempts, both virtual in school and in person in school on April 30th. So we'll be celebrating across both days. So we have a lot of fun stuff planned for that Saturday as well. And then, like I said, download those guides, go to the website, download those guides. We have some Zoom backgrounds that you all can use. We'll have some stuff on our social media that you'll be able to share with your students, stickers, frames, that sort of things. There's some stuff that you all can download in print if you have access to a printer, but also some other templates that you can use. I also want to point out, thanks to our partnership with the College Football Playoff Foundation and Donors Choose, we will have some Donors Choose funding again this year that we'll be able to share with folks who are hosting their college signing days. If you go to the website, it'll show you right there exactly how to sign up for that funding. I will say that in order to apply for the funds, it does have to be through an educator at a school, at a public K-12 school. So if you are not an official teacher, principal, or school counselor or other staff at the school, what you can do is partner with someone who is. As long as that funding is sort of going towards that school program and project, you're good to go. And then lastly, celebrate. Use your hashtags Decision Day Florida, but also use hashtag College Signing Day, hashtag Better Make Room, or tag us so that we can see what you're doing, because that's how we'll find you. Next slide. And I'm going to go through the rest of these really quickly. These are just giving you ideas on how you can celebrate with your students, both your seniors, but also ways that you can celebrate with some of your younger students as well. Your other high school students are also ways to get some of our elementary and middle school students involved too with the College Signing Day fun. Next slide. One of the big things that we do love to see, though, is our students in their shirts or hats or other memorabilia from the schools where they're making their decision. And I know that a lot of students are not able to go on campus this year. They haven't been able to do campus tours. So we also would just love to see you all make signs, get really creative on social media with showing us, telling us where your students are going to go, where they're going to attend. And again, I'm just going to keep saying it. all of these ideas that we've had and all of these photos are coming directly from those celebrations that you all are having and that our students are having. So if you all aren't doing it, if you aren't tagging us, if you aren't using the hashtag, then we can't see it. So please let us know what you're doing. You're also welcome to email us and share with us what you're doing. But the best way to do so is to actually use the hashtag and post on these sites. So we are on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we are so excited this year to be launching our TikTok account. You're going to see some really fun stuff. You'll see me on our TikTok account, which gets me out of my own comfort zone a little bit. But we are really excited to see that. Make sure that you're tagging us, make sure that you're following us and liking our posts as well. Next slide. And then again, if you are going to be celebrating in person, because I know a good number of you all said that you're going to, we just ask that you do it safely and that you're following your state and local guidelines for how you're celebrating. We haven't asked if we have any reach hire or college signing day masks. We don't, but we would love to see you all design some of your own masks or decorate your masks if you want to do that. Some fun stuff where maybe your students can wear masks from the schools where they're going to attend. That would be really cool to see. We just ask that you do it safely, no matter how you do it, but then also please do share those with us because we do want to share with other folks who will be celebrating later on in the month ways that they can learn from the field that they can celebrate with their students. Next slide. This year, we've also launched a college signing day newsletter. So we won't bombard you too much, but it's a place where you can get all kinds of updates for resources that we have when we will be announcing exactly what we're going to be doing on May 1st. They'll be the first to know if you are a member of our newsletter. This is different than our regular monthly newsletter that we put out or bi-monthly newsletter that we put out. This is a very specific college signing day newsletter. So make sure that you do sign up for our newsletter. You can click the link when you get the resources. I saw that the PDF is in the chat. When you click that link, it'll take you directly to a place where you can sign up for the newsletter. And I promise we won't spam your account. We just want to make sure that you have all the details right away. Next slide. And of course, we want to get our younger students involved. There's lots of ways that we can celebrate with them. They can have a college t-shirt day. You can have a conversation with them about what it means to go to college, what college looks like. You can have a conversation with them about what jobs they may want to do when they're older and what college could mean for some of those jobs. If they want to be a welder, letting them know that you do have to get some training, but it might not look like a 4-year university. Or if you want to be a doctor, that might mean that you're in school for 10 years, but they can do it. We want to make sure that they have access to these resources, and we definitely want to make sure that we're celebrating all of our students. And that being said, we still want to track that you're doing those younger events with your students. It does not necessarily just mean sign up just because it's a high school. And I know that this is the College Access Network, and so most of your students are going to be high school students, but I know that there are still some younger folks who are either involved in some of those schools or they may be middle high schools. We just want to make sure that we're getting all of our students involved in this process and getting to them as early as possible. One other thing that's a great thing to do with your younger high school students is to get them interested in the Common application. So as many of you all know, we joined the Common App back in 2019. We're very excited to be there to be doing this, continue this work with Mrs. Obama, but also to be a part of the Common App family. You can start creating accounts in the Common App, I believe at age 13. So it's no time like the present to get started on that and having that conversation with your students, just to explore the over 900 colleges that are on our website, many of which are Florida in-state schools that they'll probably be familiar with, even if they've just heard about them. But we also have some tours on our pages where students can do virtual tours of college campuses. It's another fun way of making sure that students have an idea of what college looks like before they get there. Next slide. And as always, as I've said over and over and over again, if you need more inspiration for what to do on your college signing day, what to do on your decision day, go to those hashtags, look them up. The best ideas come from the field. I can't say that enough. Share with each other, share with your larger NCAN network as well as the larger FCAN network for ideas on how to get going. And then please share those with us so that we can share them even more broadly in the states that don't have the same kind of support that Florida does with FCAN. Next slide. So here's what you need to do. Just in short, you are going to register your event either with your FCAN coordinators or at bettermakeroom.org/college signing day. Celebrate on a day that works best for you all. We will be celebrating on April 30th and May 1, and we want to see you, but celebrate with your students on a day that works for them. Get them involved. Share those photos from your celebrations, particularly on May 1st, but whenever you have your events, whenever your students are making their decisions, share that, tag us, hashtag us, and then email us if you have any questions, info@bettermakeroom.org. I know some folks have emailed me personally. I can promise you, you'll probably get a quicker response if you actually email our inbox, info@bettermakeroom.org. But also, if you do have my email address, you're welcome to reach out to me on Twitter or on my email. So thank you all so much again. We're so excited that you all are going to still be celebrating this year. And it really does seem like we are into a new era of celebrating virtually and in person. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I did see a TikTok and a reel from Josh on Instagram the other day, so I'm very excited to see what the rest of the Reach Higher team will be doing. It was very entertaining. And now we're going to hand it over to Dina from Sebring High School. Dina, let me know if you're...
All right. Hi, I'm pulling up my presentation. All right, so should I move the little box out of the way here, or is that in the way? When you look at my screen, you just see my presentation.
You know, we can't see the little box. We can see your presentation well.
Great, okay. All right, so we did celebrate pre-COVID. We celebrated last year during COVID, and we are celebrating this year, and they've all looked different. So this year, well, let me start with pre-COVID. We used to have students bring physical copies of their acceptance letters, and we took those copies of letters, not their originals, and we made big banners. And then during the event, the students would come over and they'd find their letter on the multiple banners that we had made. We'd usually get 300 or 400 letters from about a third of the students in the class would present their letters to us. So that was really a lot of fun for them. We would work with volunteers in our community to get donations so that every student that submitted a letter to us got some kind of prize as recognition at our event. And we try to do little things that can be used at their college dorms. And we did it as a pep rally type event in our gymnasium. The seniors would come in at the beginning of our study hall. We have an hour-and-a-half study hall 2 days a week. And our seniors would come in early and we would give them food, and we had all the poster boards out and markers and all kinds of decorations. And they would make big poster board signs about the colleges that they were going to, and they're amazingly creative. So they would have, you know, their college logos. And then we always had photo booths set up so that they could get together with their friends and either with the posters that they made or with different props that we had. And I'll show you some of the pictures of those in a moment. They would just do some fun photos. So the first half of it was just for our seniors. And then we took the seniors out and put them in a separate room, brought all of our underclassmen in and filled our gymnasiums, the stands up. And then our seniors paraded in to the gym with music playing, holding their posters. And they just, the crowd would go crazy. And we had cheerleaders out there to cheer for them. And we just really celebrated all of the seniors. And so that was kind of the model of that. And once all of the seniors were in, we had an MC, and we would actually, in a live format, call every senior up, and they would get their prize that we had drawn for, and they would announce or declare on the microphone their name and where they were going to go to college the following year. So these are some pictures of the types of things that we did. We had the banners for the colleges. We had little things for them to hold at the photo booths. We had things that they could wear. obviously some of those things are things that we are going to change this year because we don't want, and the thoughts of safety, we don't want all the students handling the same types of things. So we're going to have a photo booth, but we're not going to have the props that they can all hold like that. But you can see in the photo that's on the right of the screen, those are the banners that we made. So those are letters, and some years we would have 6 or 7 banners with those letters. And it was really fun for them to go up and find their letters on the banner. There's some more pictures on the top. You can see there's some of the signs that they would make whenever they would come in and make their signs. And I know we talked about, Stephanie was talking about involving the middle and the elementary students, and I'm just going to take just a second to tell you how we do that. We don't do that at Decision Day. We actually have something called Grad Walk at the end of the school year. It's the last week of school, and we do it the day after the seniors take their last exams. And we actually put our seniors on buses in their caps and gowns, and we take them to the elementary schools. And so we did get approval to do that this year. The students will just follow all of the same safety precautions that they always follow on our buses this year. And instead of going through, as we have in the past, and high-fiving the elementary and middle school students at their schools, we're just going to do it from a distance. So our seniors will parade through the elementary and middle school campuses at a safe distance from those students, but they're going to carry those same signs that they make at Decision Day celebration earlier in the month, and they'll be wearing their caps and gowns. And we love that because some of our students in elementary and middle school have never had someone graduate, and we're very limited, even in normal circumstances, on the number of people that can attend graduation because of the space. So for them to get that vision of these older students in the cap and gown really gives them that vision of wearing their own cap and gown in the future. So these pictures are really about their posters and what they did to celebrate by themselves. And then these next ones these are the seniors walking in. You can see the stands, a few kids up there in the stands. We captured that, and this is how they parade in. You can see the cheerleaders make the tunnel that they come in, and they come into music and celebrating. And then the top right picture is actually in just the fun of having a pep rally style. We would do some crowd events so that the underclassmen got to be involved a little. So this was one where they had Kleenex boxes around their waists, and they had to shake ping pong balls out of the Kleenex boxes. So we really just try and make it fun. And we loved having the underclassmen watch because it gave them that, again, that vision for their own futures. This year, as I show you what we're going to do this year, that's going to have changed just a little. This is the seniors. This is a big picture shot of the gym. The seniors are all crowded in the middle there, celebrating at the end. You can see that there's some prizes that we still have on the table, and those are the students, the underclassmen students are in the stands. So last year we had to obviously modify. We were not in school when it came to time to do Decision Day. So what I had them do is I had the seniors send me pictures of themselves either holding their actual acceptance letters or making their own signs at home like they used to do in the gym. And I had a lot of volunteers in the community that wanted to try and make the class of 2020 end of the year special. So we had a lot of different community leaders and businesses that still made donations, and we used those to get them gift cards, prizes that they can use at college dorms. We always try and do like a mini fridge and microwave, things like that they might not be able to do. Our school is over 75% free or reduced lunch eligible, and we've actually in our district, the entire district is all free and reduced lunch, or free lunch actually, because of our socioeconomic status. I'm out of school, so there's the bell. And so we really try and give them some things that they may not be able to purchase on their own with their family funds to go away. So what we did last year with those pictures that they sent me, we set those pictures to music, and we just had a slideshow go through, And then we did a YouTube live video where the principal had recorded a message and sent it to me. And we did a grand prize drawing. We did get a microwave to give away last year. And I actually recorded the drawing of the microwave live. I didn't make them sit through 30 minutes of me drawing prizes live. I did all of that off camera. And then what we did was the seniors came and picked up their caps and gowns because they'd already ordered them in late May. And the gift cards and the prizes like that, we just put with their cap and gowns. So when they came to the school to get their cap and gowns, they also got their prize that they had won at Decision Day. And we had a really good following on the YouTube live video. We had our senior class is about 300 each year, and we had over 700 watch the live video as it was streaming live. This year, our senior team that works with me to plan really liked the pictures of the seniors with acceptance letters as opposed to bringing copies of the acceptance letters and making banners. So one of our pivots that we're adopting from last year is that we're going to still do that method. So I created a Google form that all of our seniors are going to fill out telling us their post-graduation plans. We are recognizing anybody that's doing trade school, college, university, military, and we're also, if they have secured full-time employment and they're going to do maybe like an apprenticeship type thing to enter the workforce that way, we're also recognizing that as long as they have post-secondary plans to be successful. And so they just enter their information into the Google form, and then that sends that to me, and then they upload the picture in the Google form if they're that tech savvy, which most of them are, or they can email me their picture. And we're going to again use those pictures to make a slideshow set to music. But we are allowed this year, we're excited that we can do a live celebration. Only the seniors that provide us with the letters, and in the past that's been about a third of our seniors, about 90 to 100 of the 300 that graduate, that provide us with the letters or fill out our Google form. Those seniors are going to get to be in our gym, but in order to social distance, those are the only people that'll be in the gym. For this celebration, we will not be able to have the underclassmen, and we're going to do a video, try and live stream it so that while they're in study hall, the students can watch the seniors doing their celebration. We're doing ours on April 29th because our study halls are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that gives us the best opportunity to bring the seniors together. We are still going to have some food. We're just going to do it really safely. We've got all of those plans in place to be able to distribute it in a safe way. We're going to have music, and we still are going to be able to distribute our prizes. Our peer leader team is a group of 10th through 12th graders that it's a really amazing process. Those students, I usually have about 30 students school-wide in 10th through 12th grade that they actually come in on their own time during the summer. We do a training, and they learn how to do all of the things that our seniors need to do. So they learn how to fill out college applications so that they know how to answer questions. I teach them how to do the FAFSA form and our Florida financial aid application. And then they're the ones that help me with planning Decision Day so that it's from a student inspired initiative. It's not what the grown-ups want. It's really from what the students themselves want. And for the Decision Day, I really try and get my 10th and 11th graders to do most of the legwork on the Decision Day celebration so that it's a celebration for our seniors and they're not having to do the work. And some of the influences, like I said, we have decided that after we did last year, doing the digital submission of their letters as opposed to a paper copy, we really like that. So we're going to do the electronic photo submission again. And they also really liked the YouTube video because the link from the YouTube video from last year is still available for the class of 2020 and the class of 2021 to be able to look back on that and celebrate. So they really like the idea of doing a YouTube live video that we can have so that they will have that to preserve the memory of the event. So those are some of the influences from the pivot that we did in 2020 to be able to still celebrate that we're going to incorporate into our 2021 Decision Day event. We do work with the donorschoose.org, and we have put together a prize pack, and we're really excited to see that the College Football Playoff Foundation is going to be sponsoring that. So we're hoping that we can get some support from that as well. And that's always been a great part of our event. So that's what I have, Laverne.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Gina. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And we're going to get into some questions. You all submitted some questions. I'm going to make sure you're seeing. Yes, you are seeing my screen. Okay. You submitted some questions during registration and also in the Q&A box, the questions box. And I do invite you to do so if you do have a question at the moment for Stephanie and or Dina. So we're going to get into the questions that we have. I would like, Stephanie, if you can reiterate the dates that you said that you all will be celebrating nationally.
Sure. So nationally, we'll be celebrating on April 30th as well as on May 1st.
Okay.
But just like Dina said, if you want to celebrate on April 29th or on April 15th or on June 27th, we ask that you do and still share it with us.
Absolutely. And everyone make sure that you do use those hashtags that Stephanie shared, and also our Florida hashtag Decision Day FL. So Dina, I do have a quick question. Joelle would like to know, what did you do prior to all of your events that allowed you to have the permission to record students and to post their pictures on social media?
We have a release that they sign as part of their onboarding every school year, so that anytime they're on our campus, they actually opt out of having pictures done. So as long as they have not told us that they can't have their picture taken, we're allowed to do that.
Okay. And can you repeat again at what point that release is done?
It's done as part of their onboarding at the beginning of the school year for all of their permission forms that they sign to start the school year with their emergency treatment forms and things like that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And another follow-up, well, sort of follow-up, Dina. With pivoting virtually, we kind of lose the essence of being in the room with all of the excitement. So with last year, with your YouTube Live event, and this year with you'll be doing, how have you been making your celebrations interactive with students?
Well, this year we're going to actually have the seniors live, so we're really excited about that. Last year we did have, of course, you know, whenever you do YouTube, you can have the chats, and we did get comments from that, and we had a lot of feedback from the students, but we didn't do a lot of actual in-person interaction with it last year. We were all learning the technology. I prayed my way through that whole YouTube Live recording, so it was a brand new event for me. I had never done YouTube Live at all, so we were just really excited that we could still recognize the students.
Absolutely. And kind of as Dina said, like last year, pivoting and figuring out how to use all the social media platforms and interact with students and engage with students. Stephanie, does Reach Higher have any toolkits or tips for helping everyone to navigate all of the social media platforms and everything?
That's a good question. Yes and no. I will say that there are some tips that you can find on our website for how to get to some of those sites. But I would say this is a really great opportunity to ask your students to take the charge, right? They definitely know how to do this. And getting some of those students who will be excited about this, excited to help to put this together on social, absolutely do that. And then also, if your team does have either your school have like an AV team or an AV club or a design club, I'm certain that they can help you with some more hands-on experience than what we can do.
Actually, a really great point, Stephanie. I'm going to ask Dina, what are some things that your peer leaders are doing to help with planning and implementing your event this year?
Well, that's just like she said, our students are the ones that will run the technology. And they're the ones that they've tried to drag me into Instagram world, and we do Facebook. So we'll be doing some of that, and the students really take the lead on the Instagram and making sure that the technology is running.
And you mentioned, Dina, last year that you had to reach out to some community partners to get that microwave, get that mini refrigerator for your students. What did that reaching out look like? What were the communications that you put out there to them, and the asks that you had?
We sent out emails, we made phone calls, and it was a lot of partnerships that we already had. We live in a very small community, and so it was parents asking other parents and just reaching out to those relationships. And we had a project graduation team last year that they were working to do some things to recognize, like they did yard signs and they did some different things to try and make our seniors really feel special in that time that they were feeling like they missed out on their whole, well, they missed out on their whole fourth quarter of school. And so our community was really aware of what those students were feeling as a whole. And so it was really a very easy ask. All we had to do was say we need, and we had realtors, we had medical professionals that were just really happy to donate.
And if I jump in, that is exactly who you should be talking to, right? I want to point out that Signing Day does not have to cost a lot of money, but getting that community support really does help. And we do have on our website some templates that you all can use and to make your own. If it is your first time asking for funding, or if you're really not sure exactly where to start, it's a Word doc, so you're able to manipulate it to add in your school name and your date, and take out anything that doesn't feel like it flows with what you're asking. But we know that making that ask for money is not always easy. So you can use that as a starting point. And Dina's right, just work some of those phones, work your boosters who are always there for you. And unlike other years, I mean, last year and this year, people know that our students need this in a way that they maybe did not need in 2019 and hopefully won't need in 2022. But you'll be surprised at the kindness of strangers.
And on that point, Stephanie, what have you seen schools and organizations do to make their digital events special for students?
Getting your student spirit and your school sort of spirit involved is really important. So while we have lots of things that you can download, if you can download something, or if you can use a hashtag that incorporates your mascot or incorporates your school name, that makes it really special and really individualized, right? The yard signs that, while the first one you saw, then it seemed like everyone was doing them, they're still really special because they don't just say congratulations graduate. It has where your child is going to school, my nephew had one and he spent a week in nursery school and they gave him a sign, right? We were so glad that you were here. And it made him feel special because it was just for him. It wasn't for his sister, right? So the things that you can use to really make it your own, and to really make it just your school spirit, I think is what matters the most. Whether that is a drive-by sort of parade that might start at your school and then sort of drive through your local neighborhood. Pre-COVID, we saw folks really make it their own by going to locations in town that where everyone gathered. So shopping malls, I saw a couple of those that I thought were really cool. If there are some spaces where you can go that are outside of your school building, but maybe outside because it's safer to be outside, but it's also a place that everyone knows about where they can congregate, that's also another way to, I think, make it really special and really personalized. And again, I can't stress it enough. Your students know what's cool, and I know cool is probably not the word that they're using, but your students know what's exciting on campus and what's going on in your town or what the next big thing is. This is the time to really give them that leeway to be creative and do their own thing, because that will make it that much more special.
Absolutely. Thank you both so very much for joining us. I would like to tell everyone today, you can find many resources that are now available on the FCAN website. When you visit the Florida College Decision Day page, you can access FCAN's 2021 toolkit, guides for media, volunteer, and business outreach, and our 2021 site coordinator training video, which is new this year. And as Stephanie said, you can also visit bettermakeroom.org/college signing day for social media graphics, in-person accessories, Zoom backgrounds, which will be so exciting to see. I'm very excited for them, and much more. And you can also, Better Make Room's newsletter, you can sign up for that as well. They'll send you college signing updates and behind the scenes looks from now until May 1st. So sign up to receive their newsletter. When you get the handouts, this link that's on the page will be live and you'll be able to click it and be directed right to their website to subscribe to that newsletter. If you have not registered with FCAN to participate in College Ready Florida, we encourage you to do so. College Ready Florida being the suite of initiatives of Apply Yourself Florida, Florida FAFSA Challenge, Florida College Decision Day, and Planet Florida. You can do so at floridacollegeaccess.org/initiatives. And you can also request stickers through registration, or you can contact me, Laverne Hanfield, hi, by email. My email is here on the slide, also clickable when you get the slides. And lastly, I hope you found this session helpful. I invite you to join us for FCAN's upcoming webinar, Reducing Summer Melt in the Age of COVID. On this webinar, you will be hearing from the National College Attainment Network and an expert panel from districts and programs that implement summer melt strategies to help you learn how to better help students during the summer transition from high school graduation to fall semester. You can find more information at floridacollegeaccess.org/events. And I invite you to subscribe to FCAN's mailing list to keep in the know about all things webinars, policy briefs, and promising practices. To do so, you can visit floridacollegeaccess.org/subscribe. I know I just riddled off a lot of links, but when you receive the slides, they're all clickable and they will direct you to the right location. Again, many thanks to Stephanie and Dina for presenting and joining us today. Thank you everyone for participating, and happy April. Enjoy the rest of your day.